When you hear the word influence today, you probably think of clicks, likes, and whatever's trending this week. But for decades, one name has defined influence on a totally different level. We're talking an impact you can actually measure in transformed industries, social movements, and, real personal change. This isn't just about a media personality, it's about a cultural force. So let's break it down. This is the anatomy of Oprah Winfrey's influence.
Okay, so let's start with the core concept, the thing that started it all, the Oprah effect. For 25 years, her show wasn't just a talk show, it was the place where ideas and products were launched into the stratosphere. I mean, a single mention from her, just one recommendation, could literally create a multi-million-dollar company overnight. This was way more than a celebrity endorsement. It was a genuine phenomenon that completely rewrote the rules. So, what was the secret sauce? In a world that was and still is full of slick advertising and paid promotions, it all boiled down to one thing: authenticity. Her power came from this deep, deep well of trust she built with her audience. People truly believed she was sharing things she genuinely used and loved. And that belief, that trust, well, that was the priceless currency her entire empire was built on.
And nowhere was that currency more powerful than in the world of books. Let's take a look at how the Oprah effect didn't just sell a few things. It pretty much created a nation of readers.
Just look at this number for a second. 55 million. That's the estimated number of books sold just because they got that Oprah's Book Club seal of approval. It's a number so huge it's almost hard to wrap your head around. She wasn't just recommending books, she was single-handedly reshaping the entire publishing industry and deciding what it meant to be a bestseller.
And when you break that massive number down, you see these weren't just sales figures. They were full-on cultural moments. Over 3 million copies of A New Earth. More than 2 million copies of Elie Wiesel's powerful Holocaust memoir, Night. She was taking these really difficult, profound books and putting them into the hands of millions, starting conversations in living rooms all across the country. And if you want to understand the sheer scale of her power, get this. For the Nobel laureate Toni Morrison, getting an endorsement from Oprah was commercially a bigger deal than winning the Nobel Prize in literature. I mean, the absolute highest honor in the literary world. That is an unbelievable testament to the trust her audience placed in her. But being the queen maker of the book world wasn't always easy. It came with huge pressure and, some major controversy. When that trust she built was broken, like with James Frey's fabricated memoir, she didn't just sweep it under the rug. Nope, she dealt with it head-on, live on her show, in a moment that became just as famous as the book itself. Her influence was definitely a double-edged sword, and she had to navigate that very, very publicly.
All right, so her influence didn't just stop at the edge of a TV screen. It rippled out across the entire world, building real, tangible things, from schools in South Africa to major films in Hollywood.
So back in 2007, she poured her resources and her heart into a deeply personal project, the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for Girls in South Africa. And this wasn't just about writing a check. This was about creating an institution from the ground up, designed to raise the next generation of female leaders, giving them opportunities they would have never had otherwise. And the results? Wow, they really do speak for themselves. The impact of that investment is just profound. While only about 20% of students in South Africa go on to college, an incredible 90% of OLAG graduates do, and they attend top universities all around the world. That is the Oprah effect translated directly into human potential. It's amazing.
Her influence also made its way to Hollywood in a big way. Through her production company, Harpo Films, she became a serious force in getting important stories told. Take the 2014 film Selma. She didn't just take on the powerful role of activist Annie Lee Cooper. She was also a key producer, making sure this crucial chapter of the civil rights movement got the attention and the scale it absolutely deserved. Okay, so for this last part, let's shift gears and look at something more recent. It's a chapter that shows her influence turning inward as her own personal journey continues to shape her brand with, frankly, remarkable transparency.
For her entire career, Oprah's weight has been a huge part of her public story. And with this quote, she just lays it all out there, the immense pain and public judgment she faced for decades. It's this kind of vulnerability that really set the stage for one of the most interesting and, complicated chapters of her brand's evolution.
Her relationship with Weight Watchers was a massive business move, but it got pretty complex.
So in 2015, she invests heavily and joins the board. But then, fast forward to the end of 2023, she reveals a personal health choice. She's using a weight loss medication. This created a potential conflict with the company's approach, and her response was swift, decisive, and very, very public.
So, what did she do? She chose to step down from the board. And the reason why is so important. She did it to protect the very foundation her entire empire was built on, authenticity. By stepping away to avoid even the perception of a conflict of interest, she sent a clear message. Her credibility with her audience was worth more than any board seat.
So, after all these decades of shaping culture, business, and philanthropy, what's the actual blueprint? What's at the core of her incredible, enduring influence? You can really boil it all down to these 4 steps. First, you have to build authentic trust. Second, use that platform to share things you're genuinely passionate about, not just to sell stuff. Third, diversify that impact. Move from media to education to film, whatever it is. And that final step, well, it's maybe the most important. Evolve with transparency. Show people your journey, even and especially the complicated parts.
And all of this leaves us with a really big question for the world we live in now. We see influencers rise and fall every single day. But Oprah's story gives us a totally different model, one built over decades on a foundation of trust that's proven to be way more powerful than any algorithm. It really makes you wonder, what does true, lasting influence actually require today?